Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Paul at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Today, I'm going to bring you something that I haven't done in quite a while. That is a video breaking some shit down. Today, we're going to look at the Slaves to Darkness Battle Tome and specifically the Eye of the Gods table and keywords and all of those associated things. All right. So, what is this? This is a keyword that shows up typically on most of your heroes in the Slaves to Darkness Battle Tome, and it can also be added to some of your units in certain circumstances. Basic idea is it's a 2d6 roll. It happens when your hero either kills an enemy hero or monster, or if they are contesting an objective when you take control of an objective from your opponent. So you get to make that 2d6 roll, and then we go to the table, which we'll talk about shortly, and it gives you some sort of reward, typically, for what you have done. The effects are generally permanent. Some are useful, some are not as useful, as we're going to discuss. And when you can roll on this for a unit, you roll 1d6 plus 2 instead. And we'll talk about what that ultimately breaks down to, what that means. All right, so the table itself. So you roll your 2d6. On a 2, your hero is slain because they pissed the gods off. 1 in 36 shot, not that dangerous for that to really happen. The good news is that they will be replaced with a chaos spawn if you happen to have one available. On a 3, they are snubbed by the gods and nothing happens. On a 4, they will heal D3. On a 5, you can ignore the next enemy spell cast on a 2+ that targets that unit. So far, we've gotten from like 2 to 5, and in my humble little opinion, most of these are not that exciting. Obviously, your guy blowing up and turning into a little abomination on a 2 really sucks. This is not one of the things that can happen to an individual unit. All of the individual unit options are going to be 3 through 8, and they're all going to have a 1 in 6 or 16.66666% chance each of happening, but we have our standard bell curve on the 2d6. So once we get up to a 5, it's an 11% chance of a 5, and everything below that, so that 11 plus the 8 is about 19% plus another 8%. Yeah, you probably have like about a quarter of a chance of this basically, in my opinion, basically doing nothing. The heal is situationally good, but often is not going to be useful, especially in those instances where you're like, where it's a beginning of the game roll and there's no wounds to heal. Like, how many times are you going to be rolling on this table and your guy's at full strength? So a lot of times the heal is not going to do anything, and it, like, a lot of times a hero's not just going to even be targeted by enemy spells. Like, yay, I'm playing against Khorne, roll the 5, awesome. Okay, from here we go, number 6. This one's about 14% odds of getting this. It is adding 1 to the charge rolls for that unit for the rest of the game. That is pretty solid, especially considering that that is going to stack with all of your other sources of charge buffs. So there's a bunch of that floating around, whether you are inherently that way, you're maybe Chaos Knights, or some of your other dudes that have charge bonuses, or you're all marked Slanesh. And there's abilities all over the place to run and charge and charge on 3d6. So It definitely improves that. Typically, this is going on heroes, and not a lot of your heroes are actually that great in combat, unfortunately, which is kind of a weird situation with this table in particular. Anyway, moving right along, your most common result is a 7 and at 16 and 2/3%. So it's going to give you a ward of 6+, which is pretty good. It's going to make whatever is getting it more durable. It is not like super exciting, but it's nothing to be upset about. Certainly, it's going to keep that guy around longer. One of the best things on the table is number 8 that improves the rend by 1 for melee weapons on that hero. That's super good. Certainly one that I think we're going to be aiming for a lot, and at almost 14%, it's going to happen pretty often, especially when we talk about a few other things going down this list. If you roll a 9, that turns that hero into a wizard. However, if they're Khorne, they can't become a wizard. So they default to number 8 and get Rend instead. So now that's up to a 25% chance of getting Rend if you are marked Khorne. On a 10, we get a 5-up ward, which is another really strong one, particularly if you're getting this on one of your dudes on Manticore or Lord on Karkadrax, something that's got a decent number of wounds, is already kind of tanky. It's just never going to die. Then on 11 and 12, you can transform into a demon prince, or instead you can choose any other result on the table. Now, if we just go with the assumption for a second that Rend is the best option overall in this, and there's we can have like a whole conversation about demon princes in general. A lot of people are really mad about demon princes. There's definitely some situations where transforming your guy into a demon prince is probably going to be the right thing to do, but I think most often you're probably going to want to just pick something else. So combining this 11 and 12 and the 8 and the 9 on a guy that is marked Khorne, he's going to have a 33% chance of getting Rend, which is really good. I know people have been talking about marking a lot of their heroes to be undivided so that they can manipulate this table a little bit better, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But if you mark them Khorne, they're going to be getting extra attacks when they charge, and they are going to have a very, very high instance of getting Rend. So if you're going for like a really killy hero, Khorne may actually be a really good option for you. All right, what's up next? Manipulating this wonderful Eye of the Gods table. Just grab a sip for a second here. All right. So we've got a heroic action that will let us roll 3d6 when for that hero on the Eye of the Gods and pick any 2 of the results so that we can choose what result we want on that Eye of the Gods table. It's really going to open things up a lot if you are really confident that you're going to get an Eye of the Gods roll on any given turn for one of your heroes. Then that might be a solid option to go with. Favored of the Pantheon is a command trait that you can take. And this just gives you a free Eye of the Gods roll at the start of the game for that hero. Chaotic Conduit is one of the spells in the spell lore. It has a casting value of 7 and range of 12. It targets a unit that has the Eye of the Gods keyword, and they immediately get to roll on the table. The Undivided mark, all of your mortal and ogroid units get the Eye of the Gods keyword, and your heroes can re-roll one of the dice when they role on the Eye of the Gods table. So that really, like, if you combine an undivided mark with Pledge the Dark Gods, like, you can have a massive possible selection of different things to choose from for Eye of the Gods. In addition, the Exalted Hero of Chaos and the Chaos Chosen get pre-game rolls on the Eye of the Gods table. So we've got a bunch of ways here to roll more and change or manipulate what our role actually is. I just want to go back real quick because we're talking about Chosen. And I want to just point out our options when we're getting a unit, the Eye of the Gods keyword. So it's going to be 3 through 8. So no effect, heal D3, ignore a spell, +1 to charge, 6 up ward, or improve rend by 1. Now, if you are rolling on your Chaos Chosen at the start of the game, on a 3, no effect. On a 4, it's a heal. It's the start of the game, no effect. On a 5, you ignore the next enemy spell that targets them on a 2+. Frequently, that's no effect. So half of your rolls basically are going to be just a whiff on your Chaos Chosen at the start of the game. It's an important thing to keep in mind. And it's only a 1 in 6 that they're going to get that rend, which I think is the really big thing that everybody really wants with those Chosen. I know I wouldn't hate a ward or improving charge rolls either with a unit of Chosen, but I feel like rend is the number one choice for me. All right. So just a quick look at what we've got for units with this Eye of the Gods keyword and what their current points look like and what their damage output and their efficiency on their damage output looks like. As you can see going through this, this is just assuming no mark, so no buffs involved here, and no other command abilities or heroic actions or anything else like that to improve their damage output. So, your Lord on Karkadrak actually does more damage than a Lord on Manticore, and he's a lot less points, so he's more efficient than the Lord on a Manticore. Both of those are going to do a lot of damage. Both have the Eye of the Gods keyword, so they are going to be rolling on that table an awful lot and are going to be able to hopefully take some of that and really go back and reinvest it and get a lot of value out of it. Some of these things are just not really going to be doing much damage at all. Like an Ogroid Mirbandan does almost nothing. A Chaos Sorcerer Lord, just please God, don't ever get him in combat. Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount, maybe doing 3 damage. It's super not exciting. The one that's actually, I think, kind of cool is the Centurion Marshal. He's not that expensive and has some cool abilities, and he has decent damage output, and his model is super sweet. So if you're going to go with an undivided theme, I think he's really cool, and you might be able to power him up. So, this is kind of the end of just analyzing this. Again, let's just go back to the table real quick. There's some things missing from this table that would make me say oh, this is this crazy, cool, awesome thing to build around. You can really just go make some powerhouse units, abusing the Eye of the Gods table. We're not improving our attacks characteristics. We're not improving movement. We're not making anybody fly unless they transform into a demon prince. Not improving damage. Not even improving hit or wound. Our only offensive thing that we can get buffed is improving the rend characteristic of our weapons by 1. And then we can also add the charge rolls, and we have 2 different options for ward saves. I mean, this is super cool, super thematic, super fun. It is, well, I mean, people have been saying like this is a slot machine. Like, no, this is like the carnival spin the wheel for your prize thing. Everybody's a winner, unless you're like the one jerk that turns into a spawn. Um, but I think in general, I think this is like mostly kind of like a Timmy mechanic. This is I'm looking at it from a very Johnny sort of perspective here of like, what are your odds of everything? How do you use it? How do you manipulate it? How do you try and get what you want? Um, the problem is that like a lot of this is not actually that exciting to get, and so it, like if your excitement for this comes out of like spin the wheel and win a prize and you're just excited to get what you get, then super cool, go for it. If you're looking to exploit this to like leverage something to make super killy offensive heroes and really like make this part of a strategy to win games, I think this is probably not the tree you want to be barking up, but that's okay because like that doesn't make me love this conceptually any less. I think this is just super cool. I love it. I think in terms of power level, honestly, it probably actually is right. I think like from a more competitive minded sort of perspective, like looking at this, you're like, I would love it. Actually, not even competitive minded, just like wanting this to be splashier. Um, it would be great if we could go like, oh, you do impact hits when you charge, or you get +1 damage on all of your weapons, or +1 attack on all of your weapons, or a variety of different things. But I think if they did that, this would just be too strong. And this is in like that nice sweet spot where people that are gonna love rolling the dice and getting something cool on their heroes and their units are gonna really enjoy this. Um, but it's not something that is going to become this random, uh, you know, randomly hit the right thing on this and you just totally lose control of the game because your opponent rolled like, you know, a +1 damage on a unit that already had like a million attacks, like something like that. I think I like it. It's cool. I think that's about where I'm going to end this, though. Other than just to say, like I don't know, I feel like I need to make a video about demon princes because your guy transforming into a demon prince is very frequently not going to be the optimal play, which really, really sucks from a lot of perspectives. Um, Number one, like you want to roll boxcars on this and have the awesome thing happen, and then the awesome thing in that particular instance might just be like, oh, I'm gonna get red instead of turning into a demon prince because this war scroll is not that strong, which is disappointing. Um, but again, from like a thematic perspective, like, yeah, my dude's a demon prince now. He has been blessed by the gods. Unfortunately, he just turns him into a guy swinging around a pool noodle, but that's okay. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up for now. Just kind of a quick hit on the Eye of the Gods table. I'm back, baby. Expect more coming up. I've got a bunch of other things in the clip for Slaves to Darkness and a whole bunch of other crap. I got a telehealth appointment coming up in a couple of minutes, so I got to go dip out and do that. But I think I'm probably going to come back and just stream and BS after that. So those of you that are hanging out in the audience, watch your notifications. I'll be back, probably, maybe. Anyway, talk to you all later. Oh yeah, end broadcast. That's the button I have to hit. End broadcast.